So in this video, we are going to look at socio-religious reforms and national awakening. The status of women in the early and late 19th centuries in India was abysmal. When we say 19th centuries, it means 1800 to 1900, right? So we say that the status of women was quite abysmal. Why do we say that? We'll explore it further. Medieval practices were still prevalent, right? Sati was still prevalent. Widow remarriage was not allowed. The women were confined to the insides of the house, and their conditions in the society were inconsistent with dignity of human life. The birth of a girl child was unwelcome, her marriage was a burden, and her widowhood inauspicious. Caste system was rife, and it was at its peak. It is probably best expressed in the words of Rajaram Mohan Roy, the founder of Brahmo Samaj in 1828. He said this: I regret to say that the present system of religion adhered to by the Hindus is not well calculated to promote their political interest. The distinctions of castes introduced innumerable divisions and subdivisions among them, entirely deprived them of patriotic feeling, and the multitude of religious rites and ceremonies and the laws of purification have totally disqualified them from undertaking any difficult enterprise. It is, I think, necessary that some change should take place in their religion, at least for the sake of their political advantage and social comfort. Rajaram Mohan Roy was an intellectual far ahead and far too brilliant for his times. Remember, he said this before the revolt of 1857, right? This was in 1820. He said this at a time when the British conquests and the consequent dissemination of colonial culture and ideology had led to an inevitable introspection about the strengths and weaknesses of Indian culture and institutions. Even today, you can see that the distinctions of caste has been hurting the political culture in India. Brahmo Samaj was founded in 1828, and it was by far the most important socio-religious institution of the time. The Paramahamsa Mandali and the Prarthana Samaj of Maharashtra and the Arya Samaj, founded in Punjab by Dayanand Saraswati in 1875, assumed great significance during this period. There were several other caste movements like the Kayast Sabha in Uttar Pradesh and the Sarin Sabha of Punjab. Some of the backward caste movements included the Satya Shodhak Samaj in Maharashtra and Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Sabha in Kerala. The Ahmadiyya and Aligarh movements, the Singh Sabha, and the Rehnumai Mazdesiyan represented the reform among Muslims, Sikhs, and Parsis. The greater focus you can see is on the socio-religious aspect of Hindus because they formed a greater majority of the population at that time. Religion in 19th century India was the most important element of social life. It led Raja Ram Mohan to comment this: the Hindu meets his religion at every turn. In eating, drinking, moving, sitting, standing, he has to adhere to sacred rules, to depart from which is a sin and impiety. Religion was at the center of one's personal life. Raja Ram Mohan Roy described sati as murder according to every shastra. He said sati has no religious sanction. Even Dayanand Saraswati based his anti-casteism on Vedic authority. Please remember, these are the people who said no sati. They said that there should be no casteism at all. He said abolish all castes. Even though this was said literally 200 years ago, the evils of caste system continues to prevail even today. So we are talking about Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Dayanand Saraswati. Now let's look at Muslim reforms, right? Sayyid Ahmed Khan was the foremost liberal for the Muslims. He held that religious tenets were not immutable and emphasized the role of religion in the progress of society. If religion did not keep pace with and meet the demands of time, it would get fossilized, as was the case of Islam in India. This was in 1800s. He further said that all prophets have the same faith and every country and nation has different prophets. You can see that Sayyid Ahmad Khan was quite liberal when it came to such things. Next, we look at Akshay Kumar Dutt. Akshay Kumar Dutt advocated widow remarriage and opposed polygamy and child marriage. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, a man with an orthodox Hindu outlook, said dharma rather than religious belonging was the criterion for determining superiority. It was not religious belonging, but it was dharma, according to Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. The Brahmo Samaj was a defender of the basic and universal principles of all religions. The monotheism of the Vedas and the Unitarianism of Christianity, and at the same time attacked the polytheism of Hinduism and Trinitarianism of Christianity. Justice Ranade, Dayanand Saraswati, Vivekananda denounced the existence of caste in no uncertain terms. Please note, Justice Ranade, Dayanand Saraswati, Vivekananda denounced the existence of caste in no uncertain terms. Add to this whatever we have already spoken about Rajaram Mohan Rai, Dayanand Saraswati, and you have all of these people who are saying the same thing. There should be no caste system. Dayanand Saraswati gave a utopian explanation of the Chaturvarna and said this: he who has acquired the best knowledge desires to be a Brahmana, and an ignorant person is fit to be classified as a Shudra. So, Varna is based on how well educated you are, what work you are doing. That is what Dayanand Saraswati said. But they denounced the caste system altogether. Please remember that. The most virulent opposition to caste came from lower caste movements. Jyotiba Phule and Narayan Guru were two unrelenting critics of the caste system. It was Narayan Guru who gave the call: one religion, one caste, and one God for mankind. Remember this, Narayan Guru was one of the foremost people who fought the caste system. He said, one religion, one caste, and one God for mankind. Much as they tried, even the reformers at times were tied down by the orthodox practices of religion and were forced to give due to familial and societal pressures. It is also necessary to mention the Lex Loci Act of 1850, which provided the right to inherit ancestral property to Hindus who convert to Christianity. It can be looked upon as part of the official conversion or official coercion of the British Empire to convert Hindus to Christianity, which drew the ire of the Orthodox Hindu communities. In conclusion, the socio-religious reform movements of the 19th century had some of the greatest minds leading the movement, yet they were largely unsuccessful in bringing about changes in the society, as people were simply not ready for a movement similar to Enlightenment in Europe. Still, as the work of early congressmen paved the way for Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Gandhiji to take the Congress forward, the work of Rajaram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar helped Dayanand Saraswati, Lala Lajpat Rai, Rajendra Prasad, and other important leaders to take the work of reform forward. Hence, the initial phases of the reform movements formed the bedrock of intellectual thought upon which the later socio-religious reform movements were based upon. This is a brief on socio-religious awakening pre-independence. We'll continue with the videos. Thank you.